What is up, people? So today is the day that the Canton City Council is going to vote on the camping ban. It harms homeless folks, but let's talk about a little bit about why we're seeing an uptick in these camping bans, and just further an uptick in just criminalizing homeless altogether. So in 2018, there was a lower court decision that said that you could not criminalize camping on public property. I'm not sure which circuit it was, but it was a lower court. And then last year, 2024, I think it was June, right? The Supreme Court basically ruled that yes, you can criminalize sleeping on public property. And this ruling was specifically applying to cities. So let's talk about some harms. So we know that banning camping, banning sleeping outside on public property does not create magically housing. So it does nothing to solve housing issues, which in Canton City, there is one. So I'm looking at an article about the case City of Grants Pass, Oregon versus Johnson. So this was the ruling. So it upheld the city ordinance prohibiting people who are homeless from using blanket, pillows, or cardboard boxes for protection within city limits. And interestingly, okay, this is a city who actually has no public shelters for unhoused people. They don't even have any kind of infrastructure for unhoused people. So one of the biggest harms is going to be death. You're going to push people away from resources, further away from food. Canton City does have a decent amount of meals in different places for people who need to eat. We're going to push people into more secluded areas with being further away from getting help if they need help. So you're also going to, it's going to get cold. So in addition to if people are camping and they are found and their things being taken away so that they don't have their warm things that they can't replace easily because they don't have the instant cash or money to do that, if they're also pushed further away, then it gets cold. They're further away from warming centers. They're further away from someone finding the person who might be experiencing the frigid temperatures. Given Canton's history with police and the possibility that there's going to be resisting being removed, resisting their things being taken away, things like that, death by police, I think, is going to increase as well. Not to mention just decreased trust in the police, because the homeless folks around here don't trust the police whatsoever. They don't have any reason to. I mean, I don't trust them. But you're also going to push folks deeper into poverty. So when you add things like fines to people who don't have money, when you add things to criminal records, that makes it difficult to find jobs, makes it difficult to find housing, right? So there's that. Now, while the mayor is stressing, don't worry, we're not going to put anyone in jail, which is warm, by the way. We're not going to put anyone in jail for this specific misdemeanor, right? Who's to say that resisting, cops just being oh, I don't like what you're doing, and then putting folks in jail. Again, adding to criminal records, which just makes it more difficult for everything. There's also, which Shauna at a city council meeting pointed out, for women, there's actually no shelters in Canton City for women who have a felony. We have the YWCA, which is the only women's shelter, and because they also house children with the women, they don't allow anyone with a felony. I understand this in terms of keeping children safe. Now, I will say there is probably a stigma that if you have a felony, you're not a safe person. This is not true. However, I do understand that because there is that concern. but there needs to also be a place for women who have felonies to go. We do have this in place for men. So there is a place for men with felonies to go. There's not for women. I'm going to do another video about autonomy, but it does decrease autonomy. Anyway, if you're in Canton or Stark County and you can come to City Council tonight and speak out against this ban, you have to be at City Council. You have to sign up by 6:45 to be able to participate in the public speaks. If you are like, I will not speak, but I want to come, bodies in the room also helps. Other things that we tell people is, if you're like, no, I don't want to speak, sign up anyway. It's just good to see a long list. You can say, skip me when it gets to you, or maybe when it gets to you, you're like, actually, I do want to say something. So you have that option, right? You can always say pass. Another thing you can do is you can get up there and you can be silent for 3 minutes and waste their time. If they're going to waste our time, if I'm going to miss something that I wanted to do today, other people are, taking time maybe away from their families, taking time to research, spending money on printing things, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we're going to waste their freaking time. But also, if you're like, well, I would speak, but I have no idea what to say, I get so nervous, literally, we can prepare things for you. I'm actually doing a survey where I'm getting feedback from people experiencing homelessness and other folks too, but that's my priority. I have quotes for y'all. We got quotes from the homeless population. If you want to go and you want to amplify voices, if you want to amplify voices of those who are going to be most affected, I want to have thinking about making note cards with quotes on them so people who don't know what to say can get up and say those quotes to amplify voices of who this ordinance is going to affect the most. So remember, community is resistance. Let's resist by showing up. You have a great day.